The way I got involved with Gilmore Girls was my mom was friends with Amy Sherman Palladino, and at that point, Amy had just mentioned to her that she was starting this new show, and it was a pilot she was making, and she wanted to have a theme song that went along with the mother-daughter theme, and she had this idea to use this song, Where You Lead, which was on Tapestry. And the phone rings, and my mom, these were her words. She said, "I'm doing this pilot, and I'm going to do a version of Where You Lead, and instead of it being about a man, it's going to be about a daughter. And I thought it would be really cool if we did it together." So she came over, and literally, we recorded the vocals in what was my laundry room, and the control room was in my bedroom. But I didn't really know what had happened with the Gilmore Girls until years later. I had somebody come over who was singing backing vocals on one of my records, and I mentioned to her that I sung on the Gilmore Girls theme, and she flipped out. She was like I was the biggest rock star in that moment. She said, "You don't understand." And I said, "What don't I understand?" She said, "You don't understand how big the Gilmore Girls is." And I go, "Really?" She goes, "My entire generation." And so then I had to do some homework and go back and watch the shows, and I was blown away by the writing and the characters and the authenticity and the edginess of the situations. It can be horrible for some moms and daughters. It's not the way it is in the Gilmore Girls for a lot of mothers and daughters. And I went through this stage too, and I think my mom would probably attest to it. I did it late. I should have done it in my teenage years, but I waited till like my mid-20s to suddenly rebel. There's things that she's really smart and wise and good at, and there's things that we do very similarly. And I know I can call her and say, "Hey, I got this going on," and she'll immediately get it. We're both overly consumed with details, which is great when you're working because it makes the work really go well. One of her phrases she's always said is, "Consider the source." So when someone says something to you and it may be critical or whatever, manipulating or unsolicited advice, her thing is always take a pause and consider the source. You know, who is saying this? Why are they saying this? What's the motive for them saying this? And does it actually apply to you? That's a good one. And another one she'll say is, "Carry on." She'll just go, "Carry on," meaning just go on to the next thing, you know, pick yourself up and move on.
Oh boy, familiar to me in impossible ways.
Yeah, the revival was an unexpected thing. I got a call to do a cameo in the winter episode and submit one of my songs, and it was amazing to walk through Stars Hollow, in fake snow winter. It was just what a trip that was. And Grant Lee was there, and he was playing my brother. We knew each other just because we're musicians in same peer groups or mutual friends. And then when it was time to do the scene, Amy just gave it this whole other dimension that was so much better. She just injected this fun and comedy thing into it, which made the lines really authentic. And she was so at ease directing too. She just seemed like herself.
Today, a picture in my hands of who I used to be.
Hey!
Crap!
Come back here!
Stop it! What is wrong with you?
I told you, my town, my corner.
But I'm your sister!
no proof of that.
Ask Mom.
And we were saying the lines while we were running and while he was chasing me, which made it really fun. I interviewed Lou Adler recently, who produced Tapestry, and in the interview he says, there was one song that I wasn't sure was going to stay on the album, and it was Where You Lead. Where You Lead was the one song on Tapestry that almost didn't make the cut, and the reason being that it just was a little different than all the rest. It was a little more poppy, and yet as a theme song for Gilmore Girls, it completely nailed it, and the meaning was changed. Originally, the meaning was about a man, and it was this kind of codependent, wherever you go, I'll be with you, I'll be, you know, I'll stand by my man kind of thing. And my mom even has said publicly that she felt she didn't want to sing the song anymore because she didn't feel that emotion anymore. But when she gave it a new spin and it was about mother and daughter, it resonated as something that she would say. And I mean, I'm putting out my 10th solo album, and I've had a long career in music, and yet singing on the Gilmore Girls seems to be the most famous thing I've ever done. I'll take it.